A year had passed after releasing the first Storm filler game that was Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations, and on March 5th, 2013, CC2 and Bandai Namco released the banger of a video game that was Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3. Does this game stack up to the modern Storm games and offers a great experience? Or is it just a rehash from the previous Storm games? Let's find out, shall we? But before we do that, 96% of my viewers are not subscribed, so what are you waiting for? Do it before Bandai Namco and CC2 release another masterpiece like Storm Connections. As usual, in the free battle section we have almost the same options as we had in the previous Storm games. We have versus battle tournament mode, which comes from Storm Generations, and practice mode. As usual, in the versus battle we can fight against a CPU or a player too. We can choose if we want to fight solo or as a team. The character pool is rather large. In this game we have around 80 playable characters and 7 support only characters. Almost each character in this game has an alternative costume through which we can cycle. As well, just like in the previous and upcoming games, we have multiple versions of Naruto and Sasuke that just pad the character pool. Once a character has been selected, we are given the opportunity to select a teammate. Usually, once picking a character, the game will sometimes give you an appropriate teammate that makes sense story-wise. For example, if you pick Haku, the game will give the option to automatically select Zabuza, which would form the team named Mist Assassins. Of course, this can be ignored and you can select any teammate you want. As well, once you select a teammate, you can now choose which type of a teammate it will be. The characters are no longer locked in a single support type. In this game we have around 40 new stages. Most of the stages are stages from the previous Storm games, with some additional new stages. In this game some stages have a gimmick to them. There are stages like the Final Valley, where we are able to throw our opponent out of the arena and win the match without finishing the fight. Around the stage there is this dome-like field which can be broken. If you use a character that can launch, like Hinata, you are able to throw your opponent into the dome field and break it. Though, you have to do this 2 times in order to destroy the dome, and then do it one more time to throw your opponent out of the ring and win. Not sure if this feature was useful online, but it's a useful mechanic in single player. Talking about stages, there are some stages like the Konoha village, where there are objects present in the stage, where after the pen attack, for example, the Konoha village is being rebuilt, and in this stage you can see multiple boxes scattered on the field, which can give a tactical advantage. Of course, these boxes can be destroyed, but that's a pretty neat feature to complement. Makes the arena feel more alive than usual. Regarding the fighting mechanics, nothing much has changed after Storm Generations. We have our substitution bar, which in this game felt for me to recharge faster than it did in Generations. We have the same tool systems using the D-pads, attacking is and feels pretty much the same. Only thing that I noticed was that for me at least, the fighting felt a bit faster than it was in Generations. In Generations the fighting was fast-paced, but here it was even faster. Now during the fights we are able to double jump, which can be helpful in order to dodge some jutsus or attacks. As well, in this game our support characters have a health bar around them. If you summon teammate and the teammate gets hit by an attack, the teammate will lose some health. Once its health drops to 0, he is no longer usable. The assist types work the same as they did in the previous games. Defensive types will guard you from shurikens and dashes, attack types will help you extend combos, and balance types will help you with shurikens. Another feature that was implemented was this new mechanic called relay. Upon holding the basic attack button, the user jumps backwards and flashes yellow, different from the spark cancel. Spending some chakra. Releasing the button from there causes them to break into a dash, after which we are able to use our support characters for a team combo. Now, in the battle, once the opponent is in low health state, we are able to execute an ultimate jutsu finish, where by using our ultimate jutsus, we are shown a small screenshot from the anime and the character talking before finishing the fight. Regarding the other modes of free battle, we have a tournament mode, which is inspired by the last Storm game. The tournament modes is split into 3 parts. Free tournament, which we basically can create our own tournament with 4 or 8 characters. Perpetual change tournament. This is the same tournament as the last one, but with a twist, where before each battle, specific battle conditions are given that can impact the fight, like having a damage buff but it switched places between players, losing some chakra over time, etc. Challenge tournament. This is the same thing we had in Generations, where we have a set of predefined tournaments with predefined characters, where each tournament is harder than the last one. Ultimate Adventure Mode is the main part of this game. In this mode we can relive the story of Naruto Shippuden, starting from the aftermath of the Pain Destruction arc and ending it with the start of the 4th Great Ninja War. When starting this mode you are already thrown into the main story retelling. In total, the story mode consists of 9 chapters. The prologue, which again represents the Ninetales attack on the Konoha village. Chapter 1, which depicts the events of the 5 Kage Summit. Chapter 2 depicts the events after the 5 Kage Summit when Naruto fought Sasuke afterwards. Chapter 3 represents the arc when Naruto went to the Turtle Island. Chapter 4 portrays how Naruto controlled Kuruma's chakra. Chapter 5 depicts how Kabuto infiltrated the Turtle Island. Chapter 6 shows the start of the 4th Shinobi War. Chapter 7 shows the most iconic fights of the war. Chapter 8 depicts Naruto finding out about the war. And Chapter 9 depicts the introduction of Madara. And of course the last chapter, which is a filler chapter where Naruto and Killer Bee fight against Tobi, who is controlling the remaining 7-tailed beasts and their hosts. Each chapter consists of multiple fights with multiple in-game cutscenes and in-game dialogue scenes, where in the chapter's end there is a boss battle of sorts. Yes, this game has boss battles. The boss battles can be a fight with our beloved QTE sequences, where by getting enough stars we are able to see a hidden memory that gives us more context to the battle. As well, in this game there are boss battles, as in huge monster-like boss battles. An example would be Chapter 7, where there is a sequence where Choji is fighting the huge Gero statue. You have to dodge its attacks in order to deal damage to it. It's a bit gimmicky, but these types of fights look and feel awesome. There are other chapters where this type of boss battles are present. In some story battles there are these hidden secret factors that can be achieved by doing a specific action at a specific moment. Remember that thing from Storm 2 when Sasuke and Itachi threw shurikens at the same time a small animation played? Yeah, in this game the devs gave the players small hints on when and where these secret factors can be achieved. An example would be Kakashi vs Zabuza, where when Zabuza attacks and Kakashi uses his substitution jutsu, a small cutscene appears where Kakashi attacks Zabuza just like he did in the anime. What differentiates this story mode from Storm 2 is also that in this game, the game gives you an option on how to tackle certain battles in the ways of hero or legends paths. Hero option is basically the easy way to handle a situation, but the legend option gives the player a small challenge when dealing with the situation. Example could be when Guy, Lee and Sakura have to fight the 7 ninja swordsmen. The hero path in this situation would be to split them up and fight them 1v1. The legend path is to fight them all at once, which would initiate a mob battle. Yeah, you heard me right, this game has mob battles. Basically what these are fights where you're up against multiple enemies at the same time. It might sound scary, but it's not. You are able to use your jutsus and supports as well. While fighting mobs of enemies, you are filling up your storm gauge. When it's full, you can execute an attack that will attack each enemy once and it will deal a great amount of damage to them. But that is if you don't miss any of the QTE button prompts. As well, when defeating an enemy, a button prompt will appear that will allow you to teleport to the next enemy to deal damage. Fun fact, this mob battle type is heavily presented in Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Impact, which was created for PSP players to enjoy the story of Naruto as well. Might have to make a video on it someday. This game also introduced a new ninja tool management system. Now the tools are separated into 2 categories, Legend and Hero. Legend category ninja tools are ninja tools that focus more on dealing damage to the enemy, like paper bombs, kunais, etc. Where Hero category on the other hand focuses more on defensive tools like health potions, chakra potions and buffs. At the start we are able to carry only one of each item in both sections. Depending on the paths you take in the story mode, you are able to level up the Hero or Legend categories, where by doing so it will increase the amount of tools that can be used in battle. Compared to Storm 2, this story mode is rather long and it will take around 7 to 8 hours to complete. The way the story is presented to the player is similar to Storm 2, but it's better. For starters, now you don't have to travel the world in order to initiate the next main story scene. Now each chapter throws the player in a specific area and gives the player directions on where to go and what to do in order to progress the story. There are no filler side missions that are needed to be completed. All of the in-game dialogues for the story mode are voiced. As well, this game relies heavily on in-game cutscenes, which I like, since Storm 2 used to have more in-game dialogues rather than the cutscenes. The story's most crucial moments are presented with an in-game cutscene. After the story mode has been completed, the player is thrown into the free world. After finishing the story, there are a lot of things the player can do. Just like in Storm 2, there are multiple side quests that can be tackled. As well, the friendship system is brought back, where by completing quests for a specific person, you are able to fill up their friendship meter, where when filling it to the max, you can see a small friendship event, just like in Storm 2. The main thing about this mode is the Ninja World timeline, which allows us to fight all of the important fights of OG Naruto and the first part of Shippuden. Of course, these battles are just regular 1v1s, but there are also some some details given before the battle to give more context. There are some missions like Residual Chakra Collection, which is a quest where Naruto has to collect these blue crystals in order to receive an award. By completing each milestone of crystals, the player is given a reward. After completing this quest, a strange purple crystal is shown in the world. Once you interact with it, we get yet another chapter, a secret chapter, that is called Internal Mangekyo. This chapter is rather quick. This chapter takes place, if I am not mistaken, a bit after Naruto's and Sasuke's encounter after the 5 Karaha Summit. This chapter depicts Sasuke trying to leave Tobi/Madara's hideout in order to enact revenge on the Leaf, but White Zetsu is trying to stop him. This chapter is split into 2 sections, a mob battle where we fight multiple White Zetsus until we reach our goals, a 1v1 fight with Tobi who is trying to stop Sasuke, which in the end turns out to be Zetsu imitating Tobi. After the fight, Sasuke kills White Zetsu and leaves the hideout, and with that the small chapter ends. Well, the online mode of this game doesn't add anything new from the last games. We have our regular ranked, player matches and tournaments. Here, as it is a tradition, we can edit our ninja info, cards and titles. Of course, the feature from Generations, where the titles and cards give some special buffs, is not existent. I actually tried to find a match on this game. I waited for around 3 minutes plus minus until a person popped up. Yes, for the first time while doing these retrospectives, I was able to experience an online battle. But there was a catch. As soon as we wanted to play, I got disconnected. I guess that's the Storm Online experience for you. But I wasn't about to give up. So I tried again, and after some time, I again matched with the same player. Only this time we got into the match. And oh boy, I can tell you that it wasn't a pleasant experience. Since I am from the EU and my opponent was from Asia, the connection was ass. It lagged so hard that it took 2 seconds from me doing a command and it being registered in the game. If I wanted to win this battle, I had to think 2 seconds ahead. Of course, during this match we got throttled pretty hard. In the end, my opponent gave me an ultimate jutsu finisher, but just before he could end me, the game DC'd. And no, I didn't do anything, the match just died. I was happy that I was able to play someone online on an older Storm game, but the experience was awful. And yes, I am playing the PlayStation 3 version of this game, so it was a shock for me to see someone online in 2024. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first Storm game that introduced DLCs. I sadly have none of these DLCs, but if you own the full burst PS3 game or the PlayStation 4 title, you have all of the costumes, the new missions, a new playable character and the new story chapter. The story chapter is awesome. I remember playing it like 10 years ago and it was great. It had one of the hardest fights, but once you beat it, the feeling of doing it finally was rewarding. And of course the ending to the chapter is heartbreaking. I won't lie, that moment made me cry a bit. All in all, this game is awesome. The story mode in my opinion has been improved. No more running from A to B just to start a new story section. The animations are smooth. The in-game cutscenes give justice to the source material. The battle mechanics are pretty much the same from Generations, except with some small additions. But hey, why fix it if it ain't broke? The post-story mode content is there. It's not rich, but there is plenty of stuff to do. Can't tell much about online, since my experience with it was dreadful. Hope it wasn't like this at this game's peak. I enjoyed replaying this and had a lot of fun with it. In my opinion, it's a big step up from Storm 2, story-wise at least. What did you think of this game? Have you ever played it? And so, how did you like it? Did you play the PlayStation 3 version or PlayStation 4 version? Leave your answers in the comments. If you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. It will mean a lot to me. But yeah, hope you guys have a nice day/evening. Bye guys.